Welcome back to the channel, everyone. You know, a good friend gave me this Homelite Super XL automatic chainsaw. Looking at the serial number, it is somewhere around the early 80s, maybe a 1982 chainsaw. One of the most popular chainsaws that Homelite came up with. This thing started being manufactured back in the 70s and went all the way up into the 90s. And it's probably one of the most copied chainsaws there was on the market during that time. You can see here where you put your fuel in right here, and I know we're full of fuel because I just filled it up. This is where you put your oil in. But if you take a look at this bar is probably the original bar that it had on it. It's not a sprocket tip bar. And if you take a look at this chain is probably close to 30 years old itself, and you can tell that it hasn't been sharpened probably in the last 25 or 30 years. So what we're going to do today is we are going to take our Stihl 2-in-1 chainsaw sharpener, and we're going to see, and I want to go over how to sharpen these chains. This is probably, if you're not a real good hand file sharpener with the chainsaw, this is probably what you want to get. They make for the 3/8, and then they also make for the 5/16 as well. So we're going to use the 3/8 because this is a 3/8 model. And again, this is a Stihl 2-in-1 sharpener. So, but let's take a look at a few things here on this saw first. You know, if we take a look here, this old chainsaw, we look at the air filter, and you know I haven't looked at this air filter. I did get it running, and it didn't take me a whole lot to get it running. I just kind of cleaned a bunch of the dirt daubers out of here. This was completely clogged up. This was froze up and didn't hardly turn. You know, it just been setting for a while. And that's kind of how we get sometimes too, right? If we just sit around and we're not used, we kind of lose our edge, just like this old chainsaw chain. So my hopes is to take this, sharpen it up, and we may not get to put it in the wood today, but coming up very soon, I'm going to take this old 58cc chainsaw and we're going to go out and put it in the wood. So let's first of all, let's start it up. I just had it running for you, but let's start it up and look at it real quick. You remember the XL 101 that we got right here? The same buddy of mine gave me this XL 101 too. And I want to show you something here on these air cleaners. This is a little, about a 53, 54cc saw. Check the air cleaner out of that one. And this is a 58cc saw. And if I put these together, it's almost a perfect match. So let's take a look at here. This might be a little bit too small. Yeah, it's just going to be a hair smaller on this actually smaller CC saw. You can see the gaps there. So it is slightly smaller. So they won't interchange, but they are from the same style of air cleaner. And you know these aren't bad. So let's put this one back on here. And let's put this back together on this XL 101. And these filters play a vital role in keeping the trash from inside the cylinder and the piston and ruining the inside of this engine. So let's set this back over here for now. Let's just see if this thing will run. I haven't started it since our last video, so let's just see. These old things have got a lot of compression. It may be out of fuel, friends. That's okay. It just goes to show you, sometimes us old things just have a little bit harder time getting kicked off. But let's take a look at this Super XL in here. Now, one thing inside here, you can tell it's pretty clean. It just needs cleaned up a little bit. I'll probably spray it with some Berryman's or something like that. But these little plastic pieces sometimes had a problem with leaking right here between the carburetor and the cylinder. But this one looks in pretty good shape. And it didn't take it much to get it running. I just cleaned the spark plug out. You know, that's what provides its fire. And sprayed this in here just a little bit. The choke itself, it just does that and closes the butterfly. As you can see right there, just closes that butterfly. I sprayed that, got that back working. And it's a pretty simple carburetor. You can see as I squeeze the trigger, you can see it moves the throttle. And then right here, you can also see the idle adjustment screw, and you run that in and it makes the throttle up just a little bit. If you back it back out, that point goes back towards the case and it allows it to idle down just a little further. But you know, these old air cleaners, they're very important. It's just like how the Lord takes us and protects us. And you know me, friends, I'm always gonna talk to you a little bit about the Lord and what He's done in my life, and He has just truly blessed me. And so we just want to make sure that we just keep it clean. We touch base with it ever so often. And I'm going to take this right here, and I'm just going to run. And that's not, I thought maybe that was grease. Oh, there's some. If we see this here, I'm just going to take this right here. See that dirt and debris coming out of there? You want to make sure you get that all out. So just take your time, friends. Run down through there. Just get all that dirt and debris. And it's good if you turn it like this so it doesn't fall down inside the housing here. And just run this through here and clean off the dirt, because here's what happens when you don't do that. If I was to put this air cleaner back on here, this is what seals right here along this square edge right here. If I left the grease and dirt underneath it, what's going to happen is when this thing sets on here, it's going to leave a gap between these two. And as you can tell, if that is the case, then it's going to allow dirty air to go in between the housing and the air filter, because essentially it's going to cause it to have a gap because it's not going to sit down flush. And then dirty air gets in through your carburetor right here on the end down here by the butterfly, and then it'll go in and it will destroy your piston and ring. So you want to make sure that's all clean. I'm going to go ahead. You can take an air hose and you can blow that out. Excuse my dribble here, I'm getting old. But you want to make sure that's all clean. We're going to look this over real good. And then we're going to take this housing and we're going to put it on there. Now what you can tell is this old housing is the original housing, and it's cracked all along here. Now what I could do is I could put a silicone all down around here, but I want to show you something here. So I'll make sure that all fits good. I'm going to tighten it back down. And I could essentially put silicone right there, but you can tell right here there's just a bigger hole and there's really nothing I can do for that. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably see if someone has another one of these top plates as well. Now I am curious, and I'm not, well, I know that won't fit. Those are metal, these are plastic. That's what made that old XL 101, which is, that's a 1970 model, and they started making those in like 1968. Those are all metal saws. These started introducing the plastic. That's why this one is broke. So you just want to make sure things are clean when you're looking around the outside. Make sure they're not cracked, where you get a lot of big debris in here, because what can happen is even though this is sealing right here on your air cleaner, okay, that is sealing, so we're okay. So air is just going to go in there. It actually is going to let more air in there, which is not a bad thing, as long as it can't get underneath the air cleaners. So I'm going to take this chain, and I am going to take our Stihl 2-in-1 here. The way this Stihl 2-in-1 works is you have your angle, okay? This is going to go up against your bar. This right here is going to go down in the gullet of the cutting tooth. This right here will come across the raker, and it's going to set your raker height, and should not allow it to be too aggressive. Should have put the right amount of file on those rakers. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this file. It's going to go down in here in the gullet of this tooth on this cutter. This will go against the raker. This right here, the angle, will be the angle that we go up against our bar with, And that's one reason you can't get it off. Okay, you just put that up against her like that, and then you're going to push until this one hits the bar. And then just slight pressure, let up. You're not raking it back across, even though you can hear it. And you're just going to do that 3 or 4 times. On that tooth. Now, if you look at this tooth, you might be able to see right here how it's been straightened up and dressed up. Right here on this tooth. Okay, can you see that right there? Okay, so we're going to go to the next one. We're just going to continue to work it. Move it forward. Okay. You know, these are just smooth, even strokes. I'm not angling it down. I'm not angling it up. I'm just leaving it level. Got a good rhythm going here. We're just sharpening these teeth. I think we have about got this side. Yes, we've made it now. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to turn it around. We will flip it around like this. So this will go inside the tooth. This will take care of the raker. We're going to turn it like this. This tooth right here is in a little worse shape. It's got a lot of, it's like, it has like a hangnail in there, so to speak. But just even pressure. Okay. This is a very old chain. Okay. Now see how it got the tooth? But see that shiny spot on that raker as well? Okay, so it's getting the raker. All right, we've about got this. Matter of fact, we are all ready. That didn't take long at all, friends. Maybe 2 minutes. We are already back at the front. Now this is only taking about 2 to 3 strokes to get this where it needs to be. So it's not bad at all. And I will probably touch up this other side once again too. Now you can tell I have this in the right direction if you see that arrow right there. So when I turn it, I'm pushing in that direction. So if you get the arrows in the wrong direction like this and you set it down, you know that it's not going to position the file and the round file in the right direction. So here we go. Stihl is up, arrows in the right direction. Stick it on here, line it up, and just push it. I can tell you this is only taking 3 or 4 turns, and it works out great. All right. This is so easy to use. I have a link to these in the bottom of my description. If you want to go on there, you'll get a discount when you purchase them. I am not sponsored by Stihl, but I do put a link on there so that you can purchase them and get a discount. This is one of the best that I have found. I am going to be testing out a Husqvarna one later on as well, so stay tuned for that. You know, we have to stay sharp in our daily walk. If we don't stay sharp in every way, things can just go awry and we won't be ready. Just like this old saw, it wouldn't cut wood straight. Matter of fact, if it wasn't just right, it could cause it to cut on the angle and not run true. And that's kind of how it is with our life. So we have to take care of ourselves. You know, we have to have a daily relationship, and we have to think about what do we need to be doing the right way. Now, my old shop's dirty, as you can tell. I do a lot of work in here. But really, part of my life should be about keeping things organized. So I will be organized this whole shop. You'll be able to see this as we go on as well. Yeah, we've already went around. I can already tell. Okay, so I'm going to go over this one more time right here. Okay. This whole thing, once you get the hang of it, friends, works really well. So this is the 3/8 for the 3/8 chain. And then you have the 5/16 chain, where a lot of the saws run today. That is this other one that I have. And then they even make one smaller for the real small saws as well. All right. Now you want to get down in there and get that gullet. The gullet of these chains are right here. You want to get down in there and get that, because that can keep you from cutting straight. So see how I got the gullet there a little bit? Not as aggressive as some people do. I do like to get it, because as you sharpen these things, to give yourself as much cutting surface as you can. Now let's turn this thing around here just a little bit. And I'll use my left hand just so you can kind of see how this works. Okay? So you push. I line that up with the bar, and then I just apply even pressure, just like this. Then I let up. See how it's lined up again? When I finish even with the bar. Just let up, drag it back, and sharpen it. You can even use two hands if you wanted to, but I like to have one since I don't have a vise holding this bar. I'm just going to put even strokes. So if you start against the bar and then you end up at the bar flush, you're doing good. Okay. All right, friends. Well, that's got it. So if I tighten this bar up just a little bit, we want to snug it up. You know, always with small saws, always maintain ourselves. See how loose that gets? So I'm going to pick that up just a little bit. Get the right one. It's a straight. And then I'm going to tighten this up just where it barely stops. And then that's going to be about right. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's good. So we'll hold it up just a little bit on these older saws. We'll snug it up. I do have a little slack. Okay. Tighten her down. Let's see if this old saw start up and run. Okay. All right, friends. So now we've got a sharp train. And we're going to go out and we're going to put this in the wood in a couple of videos we got coming back. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a few of these old saws. This old 365 Husqvarna 65cc. I got a bar for it. We're going to put it on there. We're going to take it out. I'll get my helper to go out there and film as we're cutting. I like to always be safe. And that's the reason I don't have a lot of cutting videos on there that you see me cutting. I want to be as safe as possible. You know, we only get one chance in this whole life a lot of times. So we don't want to mess up. So I'm always going to be safe. So, all right, let's see if this thing will run. Okay, here we go. Whoop. One thing, you haven't really heard me rev it up full blast. I always want to make sure these things are warmed up properly before I do it. And like I said, this thing probably hadn't ran in close to 30 years, I would say. Maybe 25 or so. You see the smoke coming out of the muffler. It's just burning off some of the oil residue, things of that nature. So just like us, you want to sometimes ease into stuff. Let it warm up properly. Get your morning ritual going for yourself. You know, you got your routine. It's the same way with these saws. Get your routine with them. Let them warm up. Let them start up. Don't get in them too hard. These things will last you a long time. As you can see with that XL 101, that thing is 1970 model. This is like a 1982 or 1987 model. You really can't tell by the serial numbers on this. But irregardless, it's old. It's like me, you know, and so it takes some time. Take your time with your equipment. You don't got to be in a hurry. Hey, and I appreciate you for watching. And let's see if this whole thing will start up again. and talk to Him. Have that daily relationship with the Lord, and He will strengthen you, He will guide you, and He'll be worthy to go out and do His work that day. Make sure you maintain your equipment. Just want to make sure that we're always, let's turn this off. We always just want to make sure that we're checking our equipment over. Whether it's this old of a saw or one of my brand new saws, we just want to make sure that we take care of them right. They will last you a long time. There's not really any throwaway type saws anymore. Oh, there's some different off-brand saws that you see that I have. Some very good saws like the Beaver and the Garwinter and things of that nature. Very good saws. If you take care of them and you use them right and you use them for what they're intended. They may not necessarily be a professional saw to go use every single day for 8 hours hard, for 365 days a year, several years in a row. They may last, they may not, but they're not necessarily designed for that. They're designed for homeowners to use. So if you take care of them, they'll last you a long time. Let's try this one more time. Hey, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this out with your friends. We've got a bunch of these saws that we're going to be going through, and we're going to be out taking them in the wood and putting them in. I do a lot of outdoor equipment with weed eaters, electric weed eaters, battery operated weed eaters, chainsaws, blowers. We're just going to do some routine maintenance. Got my big Toro zero turn. We're going to be changing the oil on it coming up. So we got a lot of stuff for you right now. It's that season for us to get out and work. So just remember, love God and love your neighbor. You talking about ear buster now. They do. You can definitely tell this old Super XL automatic's got a lot more torque, but you can tell that this X101, XL101's got it on RPM. This thing is a revving up little dude. But for torque, 58 cc's versus 53, 54 cc saw, you can't beat these two old vintage chainsaws. Hey, I appreciate you for watching.